Warda, so nice to see you here today.
Nice to see you too, Ilana.
Welcome. Salam alaikum.
Ahlan wa sahlan.
Dr. Warda Sada, let's start with your recent court case, which is very important, not just for you, but for all of Israel, especially Palestinians and other people who have been struggling with freedom of speech. Tell us your big news.
I won the court. For me, it was very important to win it, and a lot of people didn't go to the court. Didn't reclaim their rights in speaking about, against the war or against what's happening, and having different ideas, different way of speaking, even
Right.
sometimes. And many were dismissed from their
Right.
jobs.
Like
And
you?
even lately, I knew also Jews. A colleague from another college. He told me, "You are so brave." After I dismissed, I went abroad. He has another passport, fortunately, and so he started to work abroad. He left the country.
He left.
But and he is Jewish and Israeli who was also speaking about the war. In the beginning, it was only Palestinians, Israeli Palestinians like me. But after that, also they came after who speaks against the war or speaks against the way that we want to get the conflict solved.
Yeah.
And many people, speaking about for God's sake, we have a lot of wars since the establishment of the country, and we have a lot of wars, a lot of making enemy every time from everything, and it's time to think different.
Welcome to Women Ending War, the podcast where Palestinian and Israeli women talk about partnerships for peace, real solutions, and ideas for crafting a new world.
It's where we express our pain, anger, dreams, creativity, and vision, where hope is a conscious choice.
معاكم أميرة مسلم.
I'm Ilana Stockman. Thanks for joining us. So just for people who don't know your story, so you were a professor for 25 years?
28 years in the same college.
And
Yeah.
right after October 7th,
Yeah.
you got fired
Yeah.
for reposting a post by Avram Borg, of all people, a very high-profile Jewish guy, Jewish Israeli guy. You just reposted his post.
No.
Oh.
His post was reposted 2 years ago. It's about, I remember that when my boss came to me, he said, "You are against the country." I said, "Am I? Why?" She said, "You posted something saying that PDS, it's okay." I said, "I didn't say. I only repost an article from the media." I remember it was Reshet 12. Abraham Borg, who is also, by the way, my colleague, co-leader in our party.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Yes.
Yeah. And he said that you don't want bombing, you don't want violent resistance. There is a people that they are occupied, and they want to make some resistance against the occupation. So if you said you don't want the violent resistance, which is very don't like it, no one want the violent resistance, but at least the resistance, it's very legal. It's very, it's something that people all around the history make it. And when you are occupied, you want to show your voice, to show your attitude against the occupation. So people started to search not violent resistance, was like BDS. Some people against BDS, some people with BDS, because for me as an Israeli also who lives here, maybe I will also get bad from BDS and sanctions on Israel, because I'm as a citizen here. I will also suffer the circumstances and all these things coming from the BDS. But as a kind of resistance, it's okay. It's not violent.
Mhm.
And he said, if you don't want this, so what you want for people who want to resist. So I liked what he said, and it was way away from far away from being in in that party. We started from the that he said that it is a nonviolent resistance, and
And you
what
reposted it?
and I reposted. So my boss asked me, called me, said to me, Warda, are you against the country? I said, why? She said that you are posting in the Facebook against against the country. I said, which post? She said, speaking about BDS. I forgot that even. Then I remember. I said, yes, yes, but I reposted. And if Avronburg is against the country, who am I?
Mm.
He was, everybody knows who is Avronburg and his family and what he done for the country
Sure.
and how much he served the country. You can't claim that he is against the country or against the state of Israel. So, and even if I put something that you don't agree with, also I didn't see that I agree. I put it as
Like a thought, like
a
some
thought that some people, even if he wasn't Avron Borg, somebody speaking about citizen in the country, and a lot of citizens speaking about that, say that PDS is better than bombing the buses, for example.
yeah.
So why we don't think about the sanctions that it is legally have to be accepted instead of of bombing. And beside this, why we don't think about something else,
Yeah.
that solving the problem, making more intensive dialogue, making more true dialogue,
Yeah.
between the two peoples.
Just to say that you were fired from your job and
Yeah.
you sued, and just now, 2.5 years later, you won the lawsuit. You were awarded 200,000 shekels. Is that right?
Yeah, but in this moment, unfortunately, yesterday I knew that the college also making arur.
Oh, they're appealing. The
Yeah,
college.
appealing. Yeah, and they don't want to pay the money,
Oh,
and so I have to continue with this. It
okay.
didn't
But this is
stop by that.
it's a great victory for freedom of speech.
Yes,
And like you said, there are so many people, the limits on freedom of speech have gotten much worse
yes,
since October 7th
yes.
for lots of people.
Uh,
So,
Not only in Israel, I
mm,
saw also in America, in Germany, in London. Sometimes I saw how also it's the police. It's cruel sometimes with dealing with the demonstrations and what's happening in this world.
yeah,
I don't know, but here it's
yeah,
all the demonstrations and what's
yeah,
happening in the West Bank and what's happening, the war also against Gaza. It's continuing by every day. People are killed, and also in Lebanon
yeah,
and in Iraq, in Iran. I hope that it will not be a continuous
right.
war. Yeah,
Who knows? Yeah.
it's very
So
hard.
let's
Yeah.
talk about your party that you're doing with Avram Borg. Um, all its citizens. Yes,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
are one of the co-heads,
Yeah.
right? There are two Jewish co-heads, two Arab co-heads, two women, two men.
Exactly. So we are trying, to include every kind of citizen in the country, because we're speaking about human rights, citizen rights for everyone, and no matter where he lives or where he comes from, if it's in the periphery, it's in the center, it's a woman, it's a worker, it's a blue shirt employee or everything. So we are talking about equity, about justice, about peace, about human rights, and also something very important, it's taking away, it's dividing the religion from the country. Yani to be a country of of citizens, not to say it's a democratic country, without telling that it's a Jews or it's a Muslim or it's etc. etc. I know it's not
All its citizens. I mean, the title is exactly.
exactly
Yeah.
that if you being for example, I know a lot of Jews that they are not they are atheists. They don't want the rules of religion control them in Shabbat or in any time. So they don't want to also the kosher and not kosher be in
Marriage, divorce.
every
Yes.
restaurant, and because it's a big a big deal. Everyone who wants to make a restaurant have to bring a rabbi and give me the certificate. And I don't want to tell you what sometimes I worked in a hotel sometimes, and I don't know. I know sometimes what is making what is meaning the meaning of getting the kosher sometimes,
Yeah.
and how much money it's industry. It's
Yeah.
a full industry in that.
Yeah. So
So
lots of people
yeah,
want
they don't
the
want
separation of religion. It's
exactly,
democracy. Think everybody who
exactly.
lives here
Yeah,
deserves rights, deserves justice.
exactly. A
Yeah.
Jew have to live here, has the right to live here, and any citizen in this country has the right to live here.
And this is so needed. I mean, the political
Exactly.
landscape in Israel right now
Yes.
is not so good, right? We were just talking about this, especially. So you have equal Jewish, you have equal Jewish Israeli and Palestinian Israeli, and you have equal women and men,
Yeah.
and that's really hard to come by.
Yeah.
And is even in we were just talking about how Hadash just had their primaries, and there are no women in the top four. Hadash.
Yeah, Hadash. It's I used to also elect to Hadash a lot of time after I finished. I stopped to to elect to Meretz in the beginning when I was young, but after that Hadash, when they make also all the parties together, it gave me hope that together the Palestinian Israeli Palestinian will make a change, and maybe it will push for peace, for make a difference, and make accepting the differences in the country, and managing the differences in the country as a privilege for the country, not as something that make the people apart. And for me it was a disappointed. I was disappointed, especially that they didn't ensure having women in the first four
Yeah.
mandates.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, we all know Aida Tuma. She was
Yeah.
a very good MK.
Yeah.
She was very respectful MK, and
She did so much, and she was the head of the Committee for the Status of Women, Gender
exactly,
Equality. She was so good. She was one of the best chairs of that committee we have ever
yeah,
had.
yeah,
I loved her when she was doing all of that work because
yeah,
she always saw people what they
yeah,
were going through. I mean, she did more for Haredi women than the
and
Haredi men in the Knesset.
yeah,
She had these. I remember once she had this committee. She called a meeting about health, about women's health in the Haredi community. There was a 20-year study that had been done, and they released the
yeah.
findings. And she called this meeting to talk about Haredi women,
It's
and the
also
Haredi men didn't come.
yeah, yeah,
It was Aida Tume that did it for that was
yeah.
taking care. It was just like, and so she was
Yeah,
anyway.
this
Yeah,
is what we say, that a woman has a different concept
yeah,
of leading the country, of
mm,
having, different point of view about every part that sometimes the men don't
yeah,
take care of it.
yeah,
So women has to take care of everything. For
yeah,
example, I say always that women look in the micro and in the macro.
mm,
We were born taking care of the micro, because we are in our soul having the birth of the babies, and looking after them, and be breathe them everything. So we are born to take care of every small things. Besides, the men are taking care of the macro. Now education help the men to also take care of the small things that very important, like emotions, like everything that the women were born on it. And the woman also can be educated and trained to also look in the macro. So when we have men and women thinking the same, it's okay. But we are living in a patriarchal society. So men only thinks about, not all the men, of course, they will. I know a lot of
Like, not all men, yes.
yeah, a lot of men lives in that place that the man it's better than the woman in leading, in managing, in controlling, in everything, while the woman think that her place in leading the country, it's taking care about every single thing that the man didn't take care. And besides also leading, all the things that we are aware now, like the dialogue, the empathy, the seeing the other, the differences. It's very important issue in the personality of the woman. I don't say that all the women, we have
Right.
examples
We know.
in the Knesset that they
We
are
know.
not,
Right.
but because they adapted the how to say, the men or the male.
It's internalized patriarchy. There's a lot of
Exactly.
like internalized patriarchy. Okay, that's
Exactly. Yeah.
but so tell me, what is your party gonna do, all its citizens? Are you thinking about running this election?
We don't know yet, but we having a lot of connections now, reactions also with different parties,
Yeah.
old and new. I guess many of them are accepting our basic values, which we having, and we don't, having any connection with a party that doesn't take in her.
Like their agenda, their platform.
Yeah, in their agenda, they are not taking in their agenda the basic,
Yeah.
basic, yeah,
I know we only have a few minutes left, which is so
yeah.
sad. I could talk to you for hours. I don't want to leave without mentioning your paper about federalism, about solutions,
Mhm.
right? Because I also want to, for those who don't know Warda, you're the author of one of the most important documents about
Mhm.
solutions, right? And we're together in Forum
Yes,
1325. And in
yes,
Forum
yeah.
1325, we always talk
Mhm.
about how there are at least 4 different solutions. There's the
Yeah,
2-state solution, the 1-state solution, the confederal system, and the
yeah.
federalist system.
Mhm.
And you're the authority on this.
Yeah, I think I'm trying in my model, which I think many people also are accepting this model because it's connecting between the one state solution and the two state solution. So you live in one state solution in somehow, and you live in different in two state solution somehow. That's mean that both countries are independent in every kind of independence that they need, and in but they have kind of partnership that you feel that you are living in one country.
Mm.
And besides, I think that Jerusalem, I love Jerusalem. Jerusalem is part of my, also I learned and studied in Jerusalem. I lived a while in Jerusalem, and I think we can't divide it also as a eastern and western city. It's we can damage the beauty of Jerusalem. So in this model, Jerusalem will be open for both of the countries, Israel and Palestine. And besides, we have all the diplomatic and parliaments inside Jerusalem, while the administrative government or everything will be in Ramallah and in Tel Aviv. So in my model, Ramallah and Tel Aviv will be the main administrative cities, while Jerusalem will be the diplomatic and the parliament who make the rules. Now we have also from the two parliaments, we have one big parliament, a joint parliament from this parliament and this parliament, which is Israel and Palestinians parliament, that together they make also the rules for both countries. So you live in different countries, but you live in the same rights. So it's a very a big model, and I think every time I spoke about it, they like it.
You think your parties adopt?
Yani if we will arrive to that, we will adapt it, and we will continue convincing people from both sides to adapt it. When we sit in the negotiation table, Palestinians and Israeli who represent the both countries will sit and speak about the solution. For me, I suggest that as a solution, but I think and I suppose that many solutions will be also presented for in the negotiation table. I hope that this model, which is also very close to lands for all, that they have a little bit differences about the cities, that as I divided the cities.
And I would just point out that both All Its Citizens and Land for All are organizations run by women with equality and
Exactly.
diversity who are coming up with creative solutions.
Yes,
That's part of
right.
women's contribution is the
Yes.
creative solutions. We don't have to be stuck in ideas from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
We don't have to believe that things aren't moving. We can say things are moving.
Right.
Yes.
You know, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, well, that's
it's a
what women
credit.
bring. Women
Yeah.
bring problem solving and
Exactly.
solutions.
Yeah.
And creative. Especially, we haven't been around the decision making table. We are not the ones who are. We didn't create the wars. We're here to
Yes.
clean it up.
Come back to the maps of the road, maps of the road. There was no woman in that for negotiation. Only one woman, Palestinian, who was, and she was in the backstage. Yeah.
So it's really, I'm really excited for you to be, pushing forward with all the amazing things that you're doing in so many different fronts. And I hope we can speak again soon. This wasn't
Inshallah.
enough time. We need more time. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you in positions of power and positions of influence. And
Thank you, Ilana.
Yeah.
Together we
Together.
can make the change.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to Women Ending War. If you want to help create change, you should join us.
Subscribe, like, comment, or share. Tell your friends about us. Talk about it. Be part of the solution.
Thanks and see you next time.